Welcome to the Magma Classroom. This particular classroom series focuses on the basics of digital painting, starting with the fundamentals of value, shapes, light, and color. We've done a good few apples and spheres already in previous lessons, tried our hands at some more interesting still life studies, broken down simple landscapes, and even run a gauntlet of timed exercises to speed up the learning process. This weekly hangout is intended for the determined beginner, and we'll take our time to explore each subject and learn together. I'm your host Ryan, the resident painter and caffeinated Wookiee at Magma, and while I grab a tea refill here, you can find all the instructions for joining me on the canvas in the description below. Ready your drawing tablet, we'll be getting started shortly. Let's add myself to the screen. First and foremost, hello, welcome. With some minor technical issues as we got started. There's always something, isn't there? There's always something. Alrighty, so welcome to the classroom. Another week, fresh new subject to study. Just getting our screen up here. There we go, there we go. Come on now, add it to the stream, add it to the stream. It's supposed to do the thing. There we go. Cool. So today we are studying Kintsugi objects. Spotted this, an article popped up on my feed somewhere, and when I saw this image, yeah, that was it. I was like, yep, we're doing this. We're doing this. So let me know, firstly, if you can hear me clearly, all that kind of thing. I suspect we might have a little bit of a delay, or possibly a bit of a stuttering of my connection here. So my voice might be a little funny, but let me know. Now, if you want to join in, we have multiple canvases here down below. And of course, if you want to grab one of those canvases for yourself, you can find all the information in the stream description below. You'll have to join the Magma Classroom first, the Artspace, and then from there you can follow a link to the canvas. Okay. Just a heads up, we do sometimes use footage from our streams and the canvases as part of our promotional material to share what our community is getting up to, show what we do in the classroom, and just generally sort of promote our events. So just keep that in mind. Now, you're welcome to join here or follow along on your own canvas separately. So as with anything, oh wait, let me put on a little tune. Something just the usual chilled out piano thing, nice and soft. I don't want this to be distracting. Okay. So 5 minutes in, enough silly chatter. So the first things we want to do is always take a little look at what we're looking at to kind of assess what's there. So we have a pretty straightforward object, right? The shape of this is pretty straightforward. Whoa. Tablets, don't do that. Just go away. For some reason, my driver settings keep coming up. Okay, so we have a pretty basic form here. Okay, that's very loose. There's a very clear turn in plane over here. So where things come down and then turns away from the light source, which is, so if we look at our shadows, we've got something like this. It's very much above, coming down and a little bit from our direction towards this. So it's up a little bit closer to us. And what we notice with this, I've done this all on the same layer again. This every time. Separate layer, please. One. There we go. What we notice here, this is one of the key reasons that I wanted to actually use this as our study for today's session, is that we have two distinctly different materials. Okay, we have the metal, okay, which is much more reflective than the other material, which is this, I'm assuming ceramic. So more of like a clay thing, doesn't reflect as much light, and doesn't have sharp highlights in the way that the metal does on top of it. So that's really an interesting thing to play with. It's definitely sitting on top. For those who don't know what Kintsugi is, let me give you a definition, or dictionary definition of the term, rather than just my own interpretation. It's the general concept of highlighting or emphasizing imperfections, visualizing mends and seams as an additive to kind of celebrate those breakages and focus attention on them. So in particular, using gold, a high value item sort of elevates breakages, damages, and repairs to create a stronger, more beautiful item. Certainly a nice sentiment to look at blunders in our own lives, when you work through it. So, okay. So we've spoken about the material being different. We've then spoken about the lighting going to behave a little different. We've spoken about the turn here. Then we have all these, the actual seams of the cracks that are also going to be interesting thing to add. They are an additive thing, so I wouldn't want to start putting down the gold right at the beginning. That's something we kind of want to add in afterwards. We want to get the overall shape first. We get our silhouette in, and then we start adding these bits, especially this section here, this whole top piece. This is a significant bit on top of the surface. It's raised quite a bit. If we zoom in, make my brush a bit smaller, we can see how this is resting on top of the actual ceramics. So there's a change in plane here as well before it continues with the form of this vase, jug, vessel of some nature. So it comes down, then we have a more or less straight plane, and then continues after that. So something to be aware of, because there's a change in plane, there's going to be a change in light, very clear edge with this material. So that's another thing to pay attention to. Generally, the overall shape, the edge of things is very much. Oh, we do have something. Hey, crackers! You can grab one of the canvases that has the reference material on it, if you like. The overall edge or the silhouette of this is very smooth, and except for some of these bits, like here, it's a little bit raised, and it breaks that silhouette. So we'll first block down our overall shape. I'll put down the background first, then we do the shape, and then we'll start to add in the. So I'll just check the comment here. Hey, Z Kobe. Yeah, you're in. So all good. All right, yeah. Do you want to grab one of the other canvases, Kobe? If you want the reference material close by, it might be easier. I see some other people joining the stream now. Welcome, welcome. If you want to grab one of the canvases, find. Okay, cool. Well, I'll guide you through. Hey, Eyebrow, welcome. Anyone watching? To join a canvas, just check the stream description. All the deets are there. So okay, let's. Why are the music? Is it my headphones? Could be my headphones. Correct. Nice. Okay. This canvas. Let's drop the opacity of that. Ooh, my audio is so weird. It's like a long, drawn-out, stretched cassette tape sound of this piano. Anyway, so the first thing I want to do is grab any brush, doesn't really matter, and I want to put down my background. So I'm taking the pixel pencil brush, it's just a square thing, and I want to get the background behind it, which is, it's obviously gray, but it looks like maybe a bit more of a dark blue gray. And then I'm just going to nice and solid start. And you will notice as well, those who are joining, you will have access to all of our new brushes, duration of class, and maybe an hour afterwards. So if you want to use those, feel free, but we don't need complicated brushes for this. Let's stick with the pixel pencil for now. Okay, so you can hear me, right, Kobe? With this sequence panel at the bottom here, where we have all these different images of the vase, you can just click on one of those to work in that canvas. You don't need to have a blank one. You can just take one of those. So then you don't need to copy and paste anything. There we go. So now you can have the image there. Okay, and let's see. Let's go a bit darker here. No problem. I'm going to set my density, activate the pressure for that. Just get them. Oh, it's amazing how just the slightest touch of saturation changes things. I just want to get my background a little darker at the top. Just smooth it out by color picking, sort of in between mixed colors. This is not something I need to spend a lot of time on. This is just to give something. Then we've got a brown surface that it's resting on, of course. Let's see if we can find that. A little bit more yellow, I think. It's fine. And we are going to play a bit with, sure, no problem, eyebrow. We are going to play a little bit with layers later. Ooh, that was a very skewed line. We could have made this possibly a bit saturated. So it's just better to get all of this in first, because we're going to be laying in the vase on top. Don't fiddling with the surfaces of the background as much later on. Okay, that'll do. So I'll keep that on a separate layer. And bring my vase in on a new layer. So, if you prefer, if you're more comfortable with it, you can sketch this out first instead of going straight to painting. So perhaps a good place to start is in plotting where it's sitting. And these, if we look, this is great actually. If we look at these lines, I draw just a straight line down along the edge. Okay, I've taken it just off to the side, but we can see that this is almost, it comes in ever so slightly here, but it's almost the same width. There's little elements of relationships. Pay attention to relationships. So I'm going to get this almost the same width. Okay, so it's in just a little bit, and then it is quite wide. I'm just plotting, right? I'm just putting down points to know how wide I need to go. This is not going to be the painting part. It doesn't need to be super neat. It actually looks like there's a clear. So we have the form like this, and then it has a very definite turn, and then it is quite gradual, but it seems like you could exaggerate a turn here as well. So it is quite round, but you probably can exaggerate that a little bit. So it's not too wide. Trying a lot with my wrist here, not good. As always, I do recommend trying not to color pick from the reference photo. I know it's always tempting to speed things up, but we want to try and put in the time thinking about our colors. I was back. So if I look at this, it almost looks like there's a irregularity here in the shape, or maybe not irregularity, it's even here too. So a little change in shape. That's something I can bring in later. So it's not hugely important now. And this is probably one of those points where someone might be asking for a okay, so something roughly like this. I know I'm going really slow here, just to go through the steps in the thinking that gets us towards the final product. One of the other things with doing still lifes like this, I'm going to do this on a separate layer and I'll continue my thoughts. Looking at this color, it's kind of like a blue-gray, or like a blue-gray black. Definitely on the dark value side. If you look at that, definitely darker in most parts. And this, I mean, if we use our color, you can see that the light side, the area that's receiving the light from the top, that value isn't very high. Right? We can see on our color wheel, it's kind of in the middle. Whereas, look at that same sort of area of the metal light, it's obviously much lighter. So just pay attention to your values. Start sticking color pick there. Start here. And I will use it for pencil brush. No, you know what? I'm going to play with some of my own brushes. Over here. Let's see. I like me some short brushes. But I like to adjust the space down a bit, particularly for like a base layer. Keep the space spread quite low. I'm just going to block it in. 100% opacity. Just want to get the shape down. Oh, yeah, so I was saying with stuff like this, still lifes. I'm glad you're doing them with the classroom. Is that as part of building your visual library, sometimes it might seem like a simple object. This, at first glance, can look quite simple. But maybe you haven't painted it before. You haven't really looked at it with the intention of it. Now, we're in that environment, we're looking at it. We just build up that memory of like, okay, well, when it does this, and when the light is that, it's going to affect that type of material in that way. And once as you keep building that memory bank, you have more that you can piece together later on. in your imagination just kind of collage ideas, because you spend time looking at all these things, you can piece those things together. That's a lot of where I think ideas come from. Looking at objects in a slightly more analytical way, or in a way where you indulge some curiosity. So yeah, it's a bit darker. Saturated it a bit. The light seems cooler. So when there's a cool light, generally I want to push the saturation or warmth. Well, adding warmth generally leads to adding saturation into the shadows. So less saturated. Sure, no problem. So I know that the material overall is going to change, but we're gonna add that in. Now I'm kind of imagining that it's all this one dark material. It's probably not going to be as dark. Face, we're going to be a bit lighter because we're going to have some bounced light. But just a touch, just a touch. And then I can probably start smoothing in from here. Let's add in a shadow as well while we add it. Oh, just make use of my layers here. So what's going on with the shadow? Is it cooler? It gains a little bit of sun. So there's not a lot of shift in saturation with the light. Here it's notably more saturated under the characteristic of gold. Let's finish that up. Now start smoothing things in. What we can do is set our density to pressure, drop our opacity a little bit. It doesn't really matter, 67%. Maybe do the same with density. But now we can raise the mode. So with, say, my shadow color picked, one stroke now does that. I'm also using my pressure. Am I still on the same brush? Yeah, I think so. Or is that density changing? Let's keep the density the same. And we can slowly let the side back and forth to get a smoother gradation. This might not be the best brush for it. It's smooth, in which case you can put some lines. A bit darker, I think. I'm actually sort of 25 minutes. And I suppose at this point I can turn off this chair. I was tempted to dive into the details of that gold too soon. Something else noticing here, there is some bounce light. If we look here, this is just defining that edge that there's a slight change in value. We'll be conscious of that once we get the overall thing in. Yeah. I started off my base with a little too then we've got that with this change of plane. It's not like a hard edge, it's not a sharp edge, but it is still sharper than the transition from the bottom right of our base look here over to the top left. It's not going to smooth it out as much, but it is still going to be just a little bit of a turn here, a little bit of softness. Might have even have done it there. Back and forth. That was really fast. It's quick. Interesting choice. Start there. Okay. Why is it's bleeding? So fix up my silhouette a little bit. Eyebrow. Time getting that color in. But from this point, yeah, we can probably don't need to put in too much. I can find more. Oh, well, no problem. Welcome. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of just follow along as I've done it. But part of the point here is to try and figure it out. The idea is not to get drawings, perfect paintings, but to put in the time trying to figure it out. And we can learn from one another. But you want to start working from big shapes to small shapes. The first thing we want to do is get that background in, and then from there, put in the shape of our thing as the main shape, big shape, and then you start to add in details. And I kind of want to work from backward. So, this is the main, this gray, blue gray, that is the main shape. And then on top of that shape, smaller shapes of the gold throughout. When it comes to the gold, I recommend putting that on a separate layer. The layers panel is on the right. This button here. Because then you can make adjustments and separate from the main thing. So, for example, I'll do it. Let's see, gold start. Bit of a mid-range value, more saturated. So this is going to be the accurate kind of line of that. Now we can add opacity. I'm going to keep it at full opacity for now. Looks like a little bit more yellow. Start darken. And I'm going to try and create the same shape on this vase here. It's fine if you don't get it right, the overall shape. This is why we're keeping it on a separate layer. It's easy to fix. I still have to capture the change, transition of form, lighting parts. And have this interesting darker background, because of course it is in shadow, but it is getting a lot of reflected light as well. Towards orange. Now, what can be helpful with doing this kind of thing is actually just do a simple sphere of the material that you're using. Have separate with so that you can reference it. Doesn't have quite lights. It's dark. It can be higher. My concern is not really getting the colors right yet. I want to do this first. Yeah, so do I. It's such a beautiful object. Okay. That's fine. Benefits having it on a separate layer. T erase only the stuff that you busy have. A lot of what painting is, right? It's back and forth, you're realizing, oh, you put that mark down wrong, and so you're going to go back. This is what painting is. What brushes is everybody using? I started out using just a pixel pencil tool, and then now I'm using chalky one brush. But I've adjusted it slightly. And I have a degree of chalkiness that is by default. So these brushes are available in our Photoshop and Blaze subscribers on Clubhouse, and I'll leave them active for about an hour or two after the session. So if you want to keep going when we finish, you can still stick around. Keep using the brushes that you started with. This is a way for those who don't have Blaze to be able to still test out brushes. Okay, and I have this. So, okay, I know I'm not going to get very far with this drawing because I'm explaining a lot. So, what can be nice to do, like I said, is to do just a sphere of the material that you're studying. So in this case, we'll just make a simple circle, starting with my circle selection. Perfectly circled by holding down Shift to create this. And then going to the brush. Fill in, I suppose with gold, gold is going to be quite warm. sort of a mid-value. We start there, then go a bit darker as we shift into the shadows, and use the usual scenario. The light in the top left, cast shining down to the top right. And let's see, it's yellower. Use a bit of saturation there. And to like create a sphere that you can essentially color pick from later, but you actually my hand tool. What's going on? Oops. Keys get stuck. Once you have this, if you're following the same pattern, just color pick. So this is what I've had to do recently. Another reason this particular study is because I'm working with gold. Well, what materials I'm using this now is gold. So yeah, study to help with that. And I got to a point where I didn't quite. I was trying to paint the gold and I wasn't getting it right. It was weird. I was getting frustrated. And I was like, wait, let's just step back, do the usual sphere of material so that I can reference that and just get a sense of doing a very simplified version first, and then I can move on to the. This is really simplified right now. All is going to get a really strong highlight and a lot of color around it. So I add more saturated yellow around where that highlight is going to be. Ooh, painting it up. Okay, nice. It's going to be cool to see just some traditional still life murals. Murals of still lifes. Kind of street art thing on its head a little bit. This is overly simplified, old, but if you struggle with the material, do a simple form of it first, like a sphere. Now is because we put all of this on a separate layer, we can lock the opacity of it using this button here next to the opacity slider at the top of the layers panel. Now I can't paint outside, I have to paint down already. Okay, so I can't draw here. I can only draw where I've already applied paint. So you can approach things that way if you then want to start areas. Put in up to that area, start like this. Or the other approach is create a new layer and then create a clipping group with this here. Next to this lock icon, you have this down arrow toggle clipping group. This will then lock the layer. Anything that you add will only show up where there is paint already on the layer below. So you can see here again, I can't paint outside of the area, but I want a separate layer that is clipped to the one below it. This is the way I prefer to go rather than lock on the layer like I did before. Rather do the clipping, keep it separate first. And then merge it down later. Now, because I've did this little sphere, which isn't accurate, it's not accurate, I should probably add a bit more like dark brown, desaturate it a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot more I could do to make this accurate. But if you put in the time to do that, you can start to color pick from it. Okay, well, it's that. Just point to the lights on that side. Like this. Yellow ends, edges here, and then because it's a change of plane, I'm giving such a rough idea of how to do this rather than doing. We have this very distinct change. So now again, I might do some separate layer because I might break the shape of what I've put down. So here, for example. And it's darker. This is away from the light. And because of the direction of the light, you can see in some areas that we actually have a bit of shadow. This color of shadow, that and color and value underneath certain parts. So first establish this plane. Has some color to it in some parts. You have some. There, it's not as dark as it is here. You really start getting into the nitty gritty of things. You want to pay attention to that as well. Not all shadows are created equal. Always going to be paying attention to the direction that this plays. Now we start to get a sense that this is on top of, breaks past the usual form. Like it's actually a layer on top of our art. You just select yeah, I mean, you could do that as well. The lasso is awesome. And I find it's much easier to use if I've got a display tablet rather than it's not like I have now. Just and what other things? Let's go back to it. This reflects on the art. I'm kind of squinting my eyes just to get a rough sense. Much whiter. Yeah, I know I can gap it out. That's what happens when you rush it. Here, this little bit. Like I said, working backwards to the front first. Color parts. More that yellow. And there's lots of little seams here. You see how just roughly I've got my density set to pressure, just roughly adding bits over here. Looks like it's got a texture to it, which it does. And that's very easily then being represented here. Accurate to put in more time. Well, so it's getting more saturated on it. Just using my eyedropper to help hold my eyes of what I'm seeing here. It's generally just a straight down Here too. I'll have to add in a little bit more there. What's the general thing? It's down, push them down on it, and it's not too much. Okay, it's starting to do something. Lots of seams I haven't added in. As much as I like, dark. Here, it's quite contact shadow. But it's starting to look like something. And I know I'll have to fix those kinds of things. But as a study, I'm starting to feel okay about what this is. Have a sense of how to tackle this with more time. I tend to do something that has this sort of effect. I know what I've got to look for, and how I can get further from what I've already put down here. And that's all the purpose of the study. Is that you know how to recreate things, there's a path to get there, so that when you do decide to do this effectively, it's much easier. So we have just over 10 minutes left of the stream. Counter there, just let you know. But like I've said, stop. If you do want to try and get this further. Yeah. So we only do 1 hour for these classroom streams, these study sessions. I know the time goes by so fast, especially when I spend a lot of time talking, and maybe you're trying to see what I'm doing. Then the time just goes by quickly. Okay. So yeah, I think I've explained most of what it is. To go further with this. Just going to go around and try and get better. Hopefully, after this, if I get some other work done, I'm painting where there is gold to be painted. A panda wearing some golden armor. It has been quite a challenge. I thought to myself when this is what I'm going to draw, or this is what I'm going to paint rather. I'm just going to keep it simple. But it's never simple, is it? Ah, no, I have to get that made a little more. Press with this a little bit more. Spending more time with gold studies so I can get what was meant to be a simple. At the risk of just never being happy with it to the degree that I need it to be. That's also always a possibility. just never get satisfied. Artist skills. Let's see if we can talk about that. I get such a shock when I take my paintings over from my laptop to another device that perhaps has better color accuracy. And then I realize how much darker I've made everything. How things saturation are completely wrong. Laptop screen isn't the most accurate. Let's lock this layer a little bit. So we're going to be doing this, not the same object, but the same sort of subject of study. This Kintsugi object head, gold seeds. We're going to be doing another one on. So have another go at it, and time zone works for you. Also just there. It is very hard to draw. So that's why I think sometimes just doing a sphere is an exercise. Haven't done something before. Well, you've made a good start, I would say. You've got your object down there. Direction of the light coming in. I might even bring the dark up just more on this side, just to like round it a bit. And yeah, then on a separate layer, you can start adding the gold, but focus just on the colors in the light and light first. Just get the shape of it down. Because if we look in here, I realize I didn't get my shape right on this. There's still actually the ceramic here. It's not like this shape comes all the way over. But just using single color to draw it and full opacity, and then you can add another layer on top of that to try and start getting the color right. But I think you're doing well so far. Gold's going to be fun. It's challenging, but fun. And if you want to, like I did as well, you can just do a ball, try to do a golden ball. And what I did with that is I had a relatively mid-value orange, the warm color, and then I just went from that lighter, maybe saturated with the lights. That mostly made entirely of gold. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome control. Nice here. If anyone has a lot of time on their hands and wants to learn how to do more materials like this, Jonathan Hardesty on Schoolism has a fantastic course on understanding textures. And one of them is called Stockself, showing how to make various metals. I found it incredibly valuable. I was actually watching those this morning again just to refresh my memory. bit more fur. So it shows different skin types, paint different skin types, but it always gets done in a sphere. Okay, when you're doing material studies, a cube or a sphere, maybe both, you do. Thanks for sharing that. Do it in a simple form first, rather than trying to paint the complicated thing right away, just so you can get your understanding of it. It's such a good course. It explains things so well, especially if you want to go for the more realistic approach. Like our stylus, learn how to do things realistically first. Well, it's helpful. One doesn't have to take that approach. It's helpful to learn what is real and believable, and then stylize based on the understanding of that. We're starting out stylized based on other stylized things, not really understanding. Which is fine to a point, but to really push further and get better, you've got to start to understand real. So I think he's got another course on called The Essentials of Realism. That's his course, which I haven't done yet. Very sloppy about doing my Buddhism courses. Bad, Ryan. Bad. Smells like a bad. What is nice about doing something like this? The cracks. They can give you a good sense of the roundness of the object. I'll follow the form. Because it happens. Follows all. That ties in a little bit with something. I think that I mentioned it during the Clubhouse stream, I think, where painting Spider-Man is really good. This is coming from Wes Gardner in particular. Spider-Man is so cool to paint. He's great for learning because the lines of the suit will follow the shape of the muscles. So you can learn a lot. You can learn quite a bit from anatomy and how the body twists and what the muscles do. And, if you needed an excuse, then there you go. Why are you always painting Spider-Man? Learning. Spider-Man is essential to my education as an artist. Okay, I'm feeling all right about this. I'm feeling all right about the web slinging wireframe. Exactly. So the same thing here with I mean, there's a lot. Oh, my eyes are horrible now that I've zoomed in. There are a lot of lines in here, and some of it is black. That black. So you still have these seams that are slightly raised. They add a texture to add like an interesting form. So if you were to really go further with this, really get this as you can get it. One of the really fine details that you can get in here is change in value with these themes as well, which is way more subtle. But there is a shadow side and there is a light side. And then even in the gold itself, this sort of mottled, or this almost looks like it's slightly hammered. Effect there, really, really cool. Which I'm a long way from. Like this takes quite a significant time investment. So don't feel like time you didn't do well. It's not the case. This does take a long time for things like this to start being real. Especially when it's new, ways to do it efficiently, which also comes from time, practice, experience. The only way we get there, like gaining XP in the classroom like that. It takes time. Gravity chamber. That in Dragon Ball they think of it like that. Gain a bit more XP here in the classroom. You're trying to learn in a more focused way. Yeah, I watched a little clip of TV. So that's why I'm thinking about things in those terms. All right, so we've passed the screen time. So if you were trying to keep to the time limit, we're there. Right. Please feel free to keep painting. Layers, brushes, and all that available for the next couple of hours. And, when you're done with it, you're happy. So you can share this Discord, share your art channel, or even come back to this over the next couple of days. At the end of the week, I'll put a blog post that shows everyone that participated in our part, show what we did. It's a cool way to, especially if you're joining regularly, progress over time. For myself, I find it valuable from that perspective. I didn't do so well with Thursday. The first one was fine. The Thursday's one I didn't do so well. Overall, it's interesting to see. Keep going a little bit. I'll do another 5 minutes. Yes, the stream will end. But, like I said, Only 1 hour for the classroom. We'll keep drawing and chatting together. I'll have to go off work that I have to do. Cracks in the gold itself. In this image. Who is that? Small. Oh, nice. Some pretty interesting, strange encounters. Bunch of magic rabbits. Awesome. Let's play D&D. It'll be one of the first things when I get back to South Africa at the end of the year when I go. Well, the plan is to go visit, but I'm going to call up my table of friends and say, guys, barbecue and D&D. Let's do it. Oh, glory. That sounds like the story must have been really interesting for how that all happened. Great stuff, crackers. I'm glad you could join us again. Oh. Let's see, we have a couple other people watching. You're catching us at the end of the stream, unfortunately. But you can still follow the instructions in the stream description. If you do want to grab a canvas down below over the next hour, 2 hours perhaps, while I have Blaze active, and you can try your luck at, not try your luck. This is not about trying luck. This is about practicing, struggling. You learn new things and gain XP, drawing XP for our multiplayer art games. Roll the dice, make a drawing. Yeah, we should actually put together a list of prompts. Oh, I'm starting to read. I'm starting to dislike it. But a list of words that are assigned to numbers and roll dice. That can make for a fun clubhouse activity. For next week, especially, I will tell you schedule and what we have planned for the next 2 months. Quite excited about this. We'll be interlinking. The reason that we cover some things in the classroom. I swear. Oh yeah, yeah. I saw this. This is so cool. Esmond Lash. Oh, that's good. How Instagram's behaving? Yeah. But we do have the next 2 months. Pretty much we're sorted for 2 months. We do have to adhere to that schedule for time. Okay, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with today. Well, farewell. Like, it's very strange. You've got a curriculum. Something like it. Schedule activities. It's good. I'll stop being silly now. Thank you very much, guys. This was fun. Nice, challenging subject. We're going to have a new reference image for the same subject on Thursday at 10 a.m. Daylight time. I know the time doesn't work for everybody, but some of our friends in America might be a good one. Yeah, my internet is still awful. Awful. So just thank you very much, guys. Feel free to keep painting, and I will see you Wednesday for the clubhouse session, Thursday for another classroom. Misbehave responsibly. Happy painting. All outro.